It's like, here, go do your own version of the entire Batman mythos.
Yeah.
These chances do not come along maybe once in a career. So I still can't believe Warner Brothers let us do it.
Welcome to the Warner Brothers lot, a place where countless stories have been born, and today we're taking a look at a bold new hero with Ernie Altbacker, the writer from Aztec Batman. Ernie, thank you so much for making the drive and coming up here today to hang out with us here at the lot.
Thank you for having me.
It's super cool that I get a chance to chat to you because you've successfully introduced me to a world that I really wasn't even aware existed, in that we have these superhero stories now that are taking place in
Elseworlds.
This is a term that I was introduced to by our researcher, Grace, who's done an amazing job. Elseworlds, I've watched all the traditional, I'm a bit of a nerd, I watch all of the superhero stuff, but I don't go deep dive. And there's this whole world out there of Elseworlds where they combine the two, and you've really gone for a big swing here, haven't you? It's Batman set in Mesoamerica. Where did this idea come from?
Originally, it came from Jose Carlos de la Tona, and Aaron Berger, and one of them is, owns the management company that I'm managed by, and the other one has hired me for work. And so they kind of came over me and said, "What do you think about this idea?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, that sounds pretty darn cool."
Yeah.
I'll do a take for you. And so that's how that started. That's the first I had heard that they were going to do something like that.
You've written for Batman in the past.
Yes.
And so you're familiar with that lore, let's say.
Yeah.
Was it intimidating being set in this new world?
I mean, I like stuff like that. I like kind of the different, dimensions and the Elseworlds of Batman in Arthurian England.
Yeah.
Like, what characters would we trade out and how would we do that? So my mind immediately went over there, but I was worried. I was thinking, man, we can't F this one up.
How well-versed were you with Aztec culture when you dove in?
Not hugely with the culture, but since I am kind of a history buff and a militaria buff, I knew about the Battle of Tenochtitlan. So when they said we want to use some of the historical aspects of Cortez landing in the New World in that battle, I was like, wow, this is great. We can use these guideposts that actually exist in history and transplant the Batman mythos into it of how would it organically arise in 1520 at the height of the Aztec Empire. I just thought it was a fascinating idea.
As I was watching, I actually had to press pause because I was like, hold on a second. This isn't some fantastical story here. There's some history actually involved in here, like you said. So that led me to go and have a look into that as well. So you've successfully introduced two things to me, the Elseworlds, and of course, like now looking back at the Aztec culture and what happened there, it's incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
Is that part of what you're wanting to do with this film as well, like to introduce some of those ideas to people?
We tried to get as much of it correct from our Earth's history and use that to tell this story.
How do you do that? How do you take such a modern story of Batman and then all the elements of that story and convert it into, did you have a series of ideas that you'd come up with, some of which made it, some that get scrapped? How does that work?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pitches about here, let's do this, let's do that. But everybody knows the story of Batman, just like they know the stories of Superman, right?
Yep.
So Batman, or let's say young Bruce Wayne, was set on his path to becoming Batman by his family, or his mother and father being killed by a criminal. And that's why he becomes this detective and superhero against crime. In that same way, we want to transfer that, but make it fresh and original and wholly organic to this time. So I don't know if we're doing spoilers here or whatever.
Well, we'll give it. So if you are watching and you haven't seen the film yet, probably a good time to tune out, go and watch the film, come back to this, because we're probably going to get into some spoilers here.
So I would say, so in ours, we needed, what would happen in the Aztec world? So our young child, Yohali, which is a very Aztec name. We couldn't do anything with R's and B's because those sounds don't exist in the Nahuatl language. I found out one of the many things we found out. So his father and village, so his family is destroyed, slaughtered by Cortez and the Spaniards, and that sets him on the path to becoming the Aztec Dark Knight.
Yeah. And so now you have Cortez, who is a historical figure. I mean, that was
Yes, he is.
Who led the Spanish in there, if I'm correct. He ends up becoming one of the biggest characters in Batman lore as well. So you've incorporated some villains in here as well. So we've got Two-Face in there, and then Yoka.
Yep.
Yoko, the character's name, who then becomes effectively the...
No J's.
No J's. So,
no J's.
So Joker was in there as well. You've incorporated all of these great beats. Were there some that... some Easter eggs in there that maybe you might miss on first watch that I was,
Oh, there are so many. I mean,
Do you have a favorite?
But Easter eggs about what? If you're talking about the culture, like little cultural moments, they infuse the entire movie. I'm not saying that was me. We had an expert, a person who had a doctorate in pre-Columbian civilizations, who was telling us, now this is wrong, even the color's wrong. And you're like, oh, okay. But those are little details that the artists had to do. But as far as putting in different characters from the Batman mythos, and I mean, I don't know if you'd call them Easter eggs, though.
Yeah, they're kind of out there in the open to see, but...
Yeah.
When it came to working with the animation, I know you just said then that you were working with some cultural experts. Did that limit you in some ways? Were there some issues that sort of arose there where you was struggling with that, or was it a good collaborative relationship where it just kind of helped grow?
No, I think it made the movie, it gave it more depth, and there was a couple hard, not hard, but so you'd hand in the outline or the script, and then there'd be stuff like, in this scene where Aztec Batman barricades the door, there's no doors.
Yeah.
They were just portals with perhaps curtains, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, no doors, okay. And then it's like this scene you got here where he's talking with his manservant at the breakfast table or the dinner table. No tables, no chairs. I'm like, what? They actually squatted around a fire pit and they would use a leaf to hold their food.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of little things like that I think give it this rich depth of the culture that you couldn't know unless you were totally steeped in it or had a doctorate in it.
Now, did the director, Juan, is he well versed in that area as well?
He's very well versed, and so is Jose Carlos.
Yep.
So they had a wealth of knowledge even before we brought on, I believe it was Alejandro Barriga, the expert who gave us even more, who told us. I mean, we were like, oh yeah, it's in the jungle and stuff. It's like, no, Tenochtitlan, there wasn't a jungle; it was a forest.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've just been thinking Aztec Empire was like a jungle. Of course it is. It's like, nope. Surprised me.
Sort of
I
region.
actually watched the, I believe it's the Mexican production of Cortez. It might have been called Cortez, live action thing. That really, really helped, because just to see the background, see what the city looked like, because I got to figure they delved into the research way more than I did. So I'm like, let me exhaust all the places that have already done the research.
Yeah.
And of course, the internet is a big help
Wonderful
for that.
Place. Yeah.
But you have to get it from 3 different sites, because some people are just putting out false historical facts for no reason at all, but just so someone will make a mistake, apparently. Yeah. Another thing I didn't know.
But it must have been exciting, though, when you're looking at that, because it's such a – I find it just interesting just as a person. I mean, it's the history of that region. I've been down into that region a little bit and looked around some of the old stuff, and it's pretty fascinating stuff. Did that really get the juices flowing?
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get to play with one of the great, properties, they don't usually let you do that. I still can't believe Warner Brothers let us do it. It's like, here, go do your own version of the entire Batman mythos.
Yeah.
These chances do not come along maybe once in a career. So I was like, I want in.
Absolutely. Were you a Batman fan? Obviously, we mentioned you've written before.
Who isn't?
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite. I mean, it's a fantastic universe to operate in. So you were a fan growing up. Do you still pinch yourself today that you're writing for, and around one of the greatest characters ever written?
Absolutely. I mean, I was a big comic book fan starting, I don't know, in single digits, of course. And I wanted to make comic books. I discovered I can't draw a lick, nothing.
Did you try?
Oh, yeah, I tried. And they were like really bad. My dad was like, this isn't, he's like this Hungarian guy. And he's like, yeah, that's not very good. Like it's an 8-year-old me.
All right.
And I kind of took it to heart. I'm like, well, if I can't draw them, maybe I can write them. But I didn't think that was a job at that point.
Yeah.
Like to just be the writer of comics or something. To hear my comic book friends tell it, it's still not a job.
That's so. I love hearing these stories, though. Just one thing I love about this job is getting to find out about people who, from a very young age, found their passion and stuck with it. It's been how many years now that you've been writing in this world, like in comic books and cartoons, animation?
Oh, over 30 now.
Yeah. Is there any serious highlights for you throughout that career that you still look at today and you're like, man, can't believe I got to do that?
I mean, my first job was on The Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow.
Spider-Man, the animated series now called Spider-Man 97.
Yep.
And I could not believe that at that point, it was still like animation was a little looked down upon. I went to the American Film Institute, and it's very indie, friendly. Like, go out and make your live action, thing. And if you told someone, it's like, I'm going to go write cartoons, they'd be like, so you've given up.
All right, yeah.
One of my friends, Jim Krieg, who also is credited on this as a producer, and he helped out with the story. He was like, I can get you in for an interview with the story editor. Would you like to? And I'm like, would I? And so I just came in, and I knew the entire run of Spider-Man and, like many different Marvel and DC comics. And I got that job. So that was an amazing start. And then, of course, it spoiled me, and I didn't get another job like it until Green Lantern, the animated series, for Warner Brothers with Bruce Timm, again Jim Krieg, and that was a fantastic experience. But I think where I kind of leveled up was when I did Batman Hush. Mm-hmm. After that, I guess that was my third one. I did Justice League Dark. I did Teen Titans, The Judas Contract, and those were well received. And then they let me play with that. And that was one of those moments where I had read the comic. I'd read Teen Titans, The Judas Contract when it came out when I was like 13, 14 years old. And I was like, this is an amazing comic run. It was the first time I was like, so there's runs. There's like, stories that last more than one. But Batman Hush was another one where I was like, this is so cool. All the villains are in it. and then they're like, do you want to do it? I'm like, do I?
I love your enthusiasm for it. Is it
It's still. Yeah.
Do you still read the comics? Are you still invested in all this? Because there's so much out there.
There's too much out there.
Yeah.
I read selectively now.
Yep.
Before I would read almost everything from all the major titles from each of the companies and a lot of indies.
Yep. Do you have a preference when it comes to your writing? So do you prefer writing for the comics, or do you prefer working in animation, or now like feature?
I would love to write for comics. I've done very little of that so far. I'm hoping that maybe I can edge in there at some time, but I think I prefer feature writing.
Yep.
Because you get to tell this like entire story rather than do, say, one episode. I've done freelance a lot,
yep.
right? And I think it's different when you get a show. You get to do the entire arc, but still you're mostly not allowed to write it all because of the time. The train's got to keep running on the schedule. So it's almost impossible for anybody to write 26 episodes in the amount of time that production needs it to get all the artists, the 100 artists that are working on the show, all working at the same time. They can't be like, sorry, I'm only on number 3, man. Number 4 is not going to be for a little while. Like that is not going to be. You're fired. Take your stuff and there's the door. So I like being in on the entirety of a feature. I think that's fun.
Well, and this is the beginning of a whole potential new world. I mean, this is Aztec Batman. It's from the ground up. The sky's the limit from here, isn't it?
I mean, it is. We hope so.
Yeah. So obviously, Batman has a broad appeal, but do you have a particular audience in mind? Is it people that are into the Elseworlds type stories, or traditional Batman fans, or?
Well, I'm a giant nerd, so I think we are looking for the giant nerd audience that likes all forms of Batman. But specifically, this one is for the Hispanic audience to make a Batman, that speaks to them. Just like Batman Ninja was for Japan, and I think there'll be more of those just to spread Batman far and wide.
Can we do an Australian Batman? Is there?
I don't know. I could have a couple boomies. Yeah. Would he toss a shrimp on the Barbie?
A shrimp on the Barbie. Some guy with a knife.
Penguin, I'm tossing you on the Barbie.
That's hilarious. Okay. Well, with the way that the film ended, again, spoiler alert, it looks like there is plenty of room to grow this story. Do you have any plans in mind? There are a lot of characters still in play.
Oh, when we actually started this, the people above kind of said, well, you know what? Think of it as a trilogy first. So we had a trilogy story. And then it was like, no, it's going to be bookends. And I think the bookend option would be really, really good. When you see the story, you will know.
What do you mean by bookends?
I mean, just like 2.
2. So just 2. Yeah, so either. Yep.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff. There is really a ton of stuff that we had to leave behind that we hated leaving behind. I mean, there's, here's what you're not going to see.
I was going to ask
here's
about that.
Here's what you're not going to see, but it exists. Yep. There's a clay monster, which would have been Clayface. There's a Robin.
There's a Robin?
Yeah, there's a Robin that I would have loved to tell that story, but it was just it's just too big.
Too big?
It's too much for this. This movie is packed.
It's packed. There really is so much in there.
We do an origin, not only a full origin story of Batman and how he becomes a Batman in this world that we have created. We also do a full origin of the Joker in this.
And Two-Face.
But that one's, you can see that one. That one's pretty quick.
That was quite quick, but it's an
there's
origin.
Your injury.
Yeah. Two-Face.
Yeah. But it works perfectly with the character.
It does.
Right?
Yeah. I'm really excited for you. I feel like this is an exciting time in your life. Am I right?
I am. Here I am, doing this. This is fun.
Do you have any advice for someone who's, watching this right now, who's young, who was kind of like you as a kid, thinking about getting into writing comic books or animation and thinking it's not a real job, like you said?
Oh, well, I mean, absolutely. My advice would be whatever you're going to do, be it write a script or a pilot or make an animation, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it as you can do it rather than waiting around for someone to say yes. And then get it out there as wide as you can, and it'll attract other people who like it, and then you work with those people and you kind of move up.
Sounds like it's a recipe for success.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. I mean, it's one way to go. I just think waiting around, I've never been a big waiting around person. Like between jobs, I'm like, let me create something new and see what happens there. And, you just give it to someone and then they can run around with it.
Yeah. To wrap up, we always like to do this, a little rapid fire question for you.
All right.
Favorite superhero?
John Constantine.
John Constantine. Okay. Very cool. For what reason? What is it that draws you to him?
Oh, he's the bastard with a heart of gold. I love that character.
Okay. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
When I was young, indestructibility. Now, being able to get any job that I go for.
I can relate. Take that one for myself, I think. Favorite animated series of all time?
Oh, man. Just because I really like The Simpsons, but I gotta say, in overall quality, the old Bugs Bunny from the 40s and 50s was probably the best one.
Yeah.
It's still good, and it's 80 years old.
Yes. Wild, isn't it?
It's still funny. The gags work, the stories, which is amazing.
Have you ever written for the Looney Tunes at all?
No, I have not.
Talk to someone about that?
So, yeah. I would love to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. All right. Are you a morning writer or are you a night owl?
Afternoon guy.
Afternoon guy. What is it about the afternoon?
I mean, after lunch and before dinner.
Yep.
That's the area. I like doing all my calls and emails and, hopefully a workout in the morning.
Yep.
That one gets tossed away a lot. And then after dinner, man, if I can get an hour or two, that's great. But a lot of times that doesn't happen.
Most underrated superhero in your opinion?
John Constantine.
Okay.
But also Guy Gardner, but I don't think it's going to be that way for much longer. I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah. Favorite villain?
Magneto. God, tie. Magneto and Brainiac.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tie. Yeah.
I mean, they're both really good because of Magneto's backstory and humanity, and he makes a good case. And then Brainiac, because he's so alien, you can do so many great things with him, but he also seems to be vindictive and vicious and bloodthirsty.
Yep.
For me, I want a world killer, The Joker's fun. The Joker is fun, but I mean, it's a little bit, a little bit one note.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's insane, but he's a genius and is insane, and anybody can go down any number of rabbit holes and give an explanation for him. Whereas those two guys are usually involved in plots where it's going to change the history of the world. And I like big stories.
Okay. While we're on the topic of the Joker, do you have a favorite version of the Joker within the cinematic universe?
Oh, yes. Yes. Heath Ledger's.
He was phenomenal.
I'm still annoyed every now and again of man, the movies we would have got, that guy would have had 4, 5 Oscars. I mean, maybe, at least 4 or 5 more nominations.
Oh, I'm with you. 100%. If you could live, last question, if you could live in any fictional universe, which one would it be?
oh man, Star Wars, I think, wins out by a nose over Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because the alien cultures thing is in both of them, but Star Wars has the Force too. So, like maybe would I have the Force even if I don't, it's cool to basically have Jedi magic and Jedis.
Well, could you do an Elseworld story there and just do Force in Star Trek?
I think they've been put together in comic books before, but not by me. I'm sure that would be awesome.
Ernie, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I love your enthusiasm and excitement for the genre and for all of the work that you've done, and I can't wait to see where Aztec Batman goes in the future. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you very much for having me once again. It's been great.
Awesome. Cheers.